What's up? Welcome to the channel. And in today's video, we are going to be discussing base building, but as in a storage facility. Now, when I first started playing this game, I was playing in guerrilla mode for about 3 weeks, maybe a month. Um, I remember when I first ran out to here and that harvest or tank, whatever that first big one appeared, I was like, whoa. That's a really big flamingo sitting out there. What am I gonna do? Shoot a tree and knock a coconut on its head? Like, I just left it alone because I wasn't ready to engage that fight. But I'd be lying to you because I did engage it and I got mollywopped, and then I sat back and picked it off for about 20 minutes and I took it out with my little default sniper and shotgun and my pistol that I accumulated. And yeah, it was fun, but I was out of ammo pretty much. And when I made it into the farmlands, I was overwhelmed because the whole game opened up. I was like, whoa, this is a clusterfuck, Sarge. And, like, we got a lot of objectives out here that we're going to have to eliminate. And um, I had to tone it down a notch because my survivability was not that great. And I didn't have the resources to back up those fistfights. So I lowered my difficulty to adventure. And I was able to experiment and I learned a lot while playing an adventure. So, your best six bases, in my opinion, is going to be this one in the farmlands and this last one down here. And then these four bases in the south coast are absolutely safe for a storage facility. And what I mean by that is when you build your base, you put everything inside of it because the enemies are kind of at a distance, so they're really not going to mess with the base. And there's no UFOs, Firebirds, flying around that are just going to blatantly attack. And these will shoot at a Firebird if you have them sitting in your other bases. And these bases are terror zones, right? If you build a base and you start storing ammo, when it gets destroyed, it's gonna go right to your storage, and then later on, you're gonna run up to your storage and realize, like, why am I overweight by 2,000 pounds? How'd that happen? And then you've got to sit here and figure out what base got destroyed, and then rebuild it, and then redo the ammo. So I learned from that, and it's time management is my go-to thing. I don't like wasting time. So I experimented, and here we are today. And when you do your base defense, make sure your world for these six bases that I've explained, put your world on adventure and do it in hard. All right? It's not going to get destroyed. You'll be able to kill all the enemies and get all the ammo. If you have friends in your game, those walls are going to get wrecked, even though you're on adventure, but you're playing on hard. Difficulty, it's those walls. Use two cement walls because those walls are going to get hit if you're not fast enough killing them. Um, Now, here's the trick. You can only store 7.62 millimeter rounds in your pillbox. Maybe you don't use that ammo. Well, what you do is you loot the ammo and then store it in here. You're going to accumulate maximum, a little over 5,000 rounds of ammo, of all types of ammo. It's going to equal out over 5,000 rounds per run. You do have to make sure that you do have the ammo increase on that 100%, and you're going to accumulate over 5,000 rounds. Make sure that you already have that equipped before it starts, because if you don't, you are going to lose out on ammo. So it doesn't matter that if you reset the skills in the middle of it, the enemies that died, that skill was not there. So make sure you have the skill on and then start your base defense on hard. After you loot all the enemies, you recycle the ammo that you're not using, if you have leftover ammo or you can't store the ammo in here, put it in your pillbox. I know there's a lot of people out there now using, multiple weapons because they've added the augmentation. The problem with the augmentation is that you still can't store a 5.56. You can't store the shotgun shell. So our storage is limited. Like, I'm not going to sit here and store, 200 pounds of ammo. I want to have some extra weapons I want to experiment with. These are my go-to right here. These are my go-to weapons. Titan Toppler really doesn't work. But your stabilization does. And your hip shooter works 100%, and your stabilization shot works 100%. Both of my weapons are laser beams. I'm really not gonna waste the resources on that, even though I can. It's just really not worth it in my opinion, because I'm really not using that. I I do have pretty much everything here except Crouching Tiger and Hit and Run, and I don't use melees. In a real life situation, I'm definitely not gonna pull out a pitchfork and smack somebody in the face. I'm just gonna pull out an AR and we're gonna take care of business. So, even though this is a game, this doesn't sit well with my type of mentality. So I'm not gonna use melees. Now, after you loot, put your storage container in front of where you're going to store your ammo. I know there's not a lot of ammo in here, but you can get up to 240,000 rounds in your pillbox of stored ammo. And I only use weapons that have 7.6, and I also use the rocket launcher. Oh, and talking about the rocket launcher, do not use the experimental M49 rocket launcher. It shoots 2 rockets. I know one does really good damage, and the next shot really just does a quarter of that, and that's really not how that works. I know if I was shooting a Mark 19 1,000 meters out into a fortified position, there's going to be and then clouds of smoke and dust, and each grenade hit or it did equal amount of damage. And there would be more damage if you actually hit like a weapons case. There's going to be some fireworks after that. So use your 5-star GRG M49, whatever it's called for the 5-star, because you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck using that, because you're not wasting a round right there. So just use that one instead. Now to the next thing here. Let's just fast travel. Just go here. You are going to have plenty of lead, explosives, steel from all of the weapon types. And when you pick up your ammo, you're going to be able to store it. Alright? And your med kits, you'll be able to store what you want to store. Now, it takes roughly a good 10 minutes to do your base defense, and another like 5 minutes of you just loot everything and then just recycle that in your recycling station. And you're going to have plenty of resources. You're never going to run out of ammo. And what's really good about this is that when you create another world and you start up base defenses in that other world, make sure you use the same character. Because if I were to destroy this pillbox, it automatically goes to that storage. So even though I created another world, but I'm using the same character, my storage is still in that same world. So you can actually max out your main world and have a nice little supply in your other worlds that you go to. So that's really unique. I didn't think that was possible, but it is. Now, when you're doing a base defense and you are doing it solo. Nothing's really gonna get destroyed on hard. If you have one friend in there, something's gonna get destroyed. So I do not use this base. This is just my nice little base. I decided to perk it up a little bit, and I brought my pillboxes from the outside to, well, from the inside to the outside, just to make it look nice. I was gonna upload it into the Discord for the Gen Zero and try to compete. So this is no longer a base that I will fight on hard here. I haven't even fought this one in probably about a year because these pillboxes will get destroyed. So just don't do that. If you have 4 people in your game on adventure and you do that mission on hard, you're gonna have to use some tactics because things are gonna get destroyed if you're not using like portable homing turrets. Those things are insane and they work quite efficiently. I really don't want to waste any more of your time, but this is it. These 4 bases, once again, in the South Coast region. You get 14 base defenses that you can do total. So that's 70,000 rounds minimum of ammo that you can store for 7.62. I don't store any other ammo because I need my storage for other items, especially when I want to store those rounds and transfer them over to the pillbox. Another tidbit, when you do your base defense, after it disappears, say just repeatedly attack one of these assault bases. So like right here, I use this one because there's a relay station nearby, so I get some extra kills. Firebird out there somewhere. And you just kick this off. You don't push in, you just stay out a little bit, let the fight come to you, and after you do it for 10 minutes, you would just exit to your main menu and then reset. But run away, you'll get your XP, and it will give you a base assault. It's gonna put another base assault somewhere on the map. And hopefully, it will end up on one of your control points. So I got mine pretty much maxed out, so no more base assaults are ever going to appear on my map. So when I do a base assault, I can immediately go out here and farm the farmlands right here, and I'm gonna instantly have one right back on there, and I can immediately go do another base defense. So it's very easy to farm these, very quickly to farm these, and just keep doing it for hours at a time if you want to, or for whatever time you got. But that is the best way to get steel, lead, and explosives. You're never gonna run out at all, and you'll never run out of ammunition. So GG, everybody stay safe out there and have a great day. I will leave a link in the description for the Discord I just started and for the club on Xbox for Generation Zero. Have a great day, everybody.